Part 3 of our Cars for Sardegna series features another 9 cars. First is the 2008 Group 2 Nissan GTR. It is easy to drive, and the only times it feels a bit unsteady is when exiting a corner in first or second. The medium racing tyres wear quickly, but surprisingly you won't feel them very much until lap 8. You can complete 7 laps going all out with your fuel map on 2, and 8 laps with your fuel map on 3. Make sure to change your tyres on your pit stop. The new and improved 2016 GTR is even more stable, and only spins in first gear corner exits. The fuel consumption is also slightly better, however, I use the same fuel map and pit strategy as the 2008 model, except no tyre change this time because we're using hard tyres for this setup. Although all cars on this event are set at 800 performance points, I can't help but notice that Group 1 cars perform better than Group 2 cars, regardless of having the same PP scores. I decided to put this theory to the test by following up the Group 2 Nissans with the Group 1 Nissans. The Nissan R92CP is more of a handful than its younger Group 2 brothers and is more slidey. It definitely felt faster, but maybe that's just placebo effect and my expectations. It did have a faster lap time and a faster time overall than the Group 2s, which supports my suspicions. Another contributing factor is that it has better fuel consumption, so that we use a lower fuel map. Fuel map on 2 to complete 8 laps at full power, and fuel map on 1 to complete 7 laps. The other Nissan we're going to try is the 2015 Le Mans GTR, and boy did this car surprise me. It starts out at above 900 performance points, and I tried it with 2 different setups. I'm not sure if this is my fault or if the car is just bad, but for my first setup, the car just oversteered like mad. It slides around and it had no power whatsoever. It's front wheel drive, so I was kind of expecting understeer instead. The car doesn't have much power, at 800 pp, so maybe this could be the explanation for why it oversteered. I don't know. The second setup was much more stable and actually felt like a normal car. If anyone has anything more or different to say about this car, please share your info in the comments because I'm in disbelief at how bad it is. The Group 2 Nissans are far better, as are even some of the Group 3 cars I tested in previous videos as well. The leaderboard shows all 28 cars I tested so far. Highlighted cars are cars featured in this video. Moving on from our Nissan experiments, in which GR1s are not always necessarily the best choice, we move on to the legendary 787B, the most requested car for the Sardegna series. People's descriptions of this car varied, some saying they'd get a minute 42 and others claiming as low as 136. This is actually understandable because depending on whether you run with your fuel map on 5 for a no pit stop run or your fuel map on 1 for 1 pit stop, you'll be faster or slower. I took the no stop approach and managed a 140. The advantage of using this car is that you can finish without stopping. Even with this advantage, however, the Toyota GR010 is still the fastest choice for this track. Another car highly requested is the other Group 1 Mazda, the LM55 Vision. This car feels the nicest of all the cars in this video so far. It is very stable and doesn't slide or spin. It's very light on the tyres, and they barely have any red by the end of the race. It's also more powerful on the straights than other cars, which gives it a good hot lap. If you're going all out, you'll need your fuel map on 3 to complete 8 laps, but it can complete 7 laps with the fuel map on 1. This is a reasonable choice to grind Sardegna with, in my opinion. It's not the fastest, but it is a very smooth and stable drive. The 2008 Group 2 Lexus isn't as stable as the Mazda. It tends to spin mid-corner and sometimes on corner exit. However, it is the fastest Group 2 car I've tested so far. It has one of the lowest PP scores of cars I've used so far as well, so the result is surprising. This is a good car. I could have ran the car with medium tyres but opted for hard, and I'm starting to think that hard tyres are always the better option for this event. You can do 7 laps on fuel map 1 and 8 laps on fuel map 2. The Group 1 VGT Peugeot feels similar to the Mazda VGT earlier. It feels very easy to drive and nice handling. However, it is slightly worse on fuel consumption and not as fast around corners, leaving it as a second tier option compared to the Mazda. A link is available in the description showing my fastest laps with all the cars I've tested so far, as well as their tune settings. For this car I did 8 laps with fuel map on 3 and 7 laps with fuel map on 1. However, I ran out of fuel after the final turn on lap 7 with my fuel map on 1. The Red Bull X 2019 is an expensive option at 3 million credits from Brand Central. I did 8 laps with my fuel map, juggling between 5 and 6. If you want to be safe, just go with fuel map on 6. I juggled the fuel map between 4 and 5 for 7 laps, but you can go with 5 to be safe. Yes, I got a decent lap time with this car, but with your fuel map on 6 or even 5, the car is significantly slower. I would not recommend this car for Sardegna. My hot lap was done with my fuel map on 4, by the way. Yes, it feels nice, but so do other cars, and they're faster. After going through 28 cars, my top pick for this event is still the first car I tested, the Toyota GR10 Hybrid.